morning. Let's start today's discussion. The first topic that we are going to discuss today is related to the biocomputers. Very interesting one. Biocomputer. Scientists at Johns Hopkins University recently outlined a plan for a potentially revolutionary new area of research called organoid intelligence. So, intelligence is going to man mind. So, this is what organoid intelligence, which aims to create biocomputers where brain cultures grown in the lab are coupled to real world sensors and as input output device. Okay, so what is this? So at the John Hopkins University, okay, what they have created, so they have done it for Okay. So which aims to create biocomputers where brain culture grown in the lab are coupled to real world sensor and input output device. The scientists expect the technology to harness the processing power of the brain and understand the biological basis of human cognition, learning, and various neurological disorders. What it will do? It will go for processing the power of the brain. Through this research, so they want to study the power of the brain and understand the biological basis of human cognition, okay, learning, and various neurological disorders in the human brain. What is the premise of this technology? Understanding how the human brain work has been a difficult challenge. Traditionally, researchers have used rat brains. Okay, normally whatever the exercise is done on the human brain, done on rat brains to investigate various human neurological disorders. While rat provide a simpler and more accessible system to study the brain, there are several differences in structure and function and obvious differences in the cognitive capacity of rodents and the humans. This is most important. As the science has progressed, it has very well been visualized that the cognitive capacity of the rodents, rats, and human are completely different. So, doing the research on the rodent brain to know it the slightly about human brain is being taken as not the right approach by the scientists now. So, they are developing human brain cells. So, to do the research on that. Okay. In a quest to develop systems that are more relevant to human, scientists are building 3D cultures of brain tissue in the lab, also called brain organoids. Okay. So, these mini brains with a size up to 4 mm are built using stem cells and stem cells are the mother of all human organs. Stem cells. Okay. Okay. So they'll be developed through the human stem cells and capture many structural and functional features of the developing human brain. Researchers are now using them to study human brain development and test drugs to see how they respond. However, the human brain also requires various sensory inputs, touch, smell, vision. But so when you touch something, you smell something, you view something, are all through the sensory inputs processed in the brain develop into the complex organs in it, and brain organoids development in the lab are not sophisticated enough. Okay, so the limitation is the brain organoids developed in the laboratory by scientists are not as powerful as the real brain. Okay. Okay, so the organoids currently also don't have blood circulation, which limits how they can grow. Okay, the organoids have been grown, but without the support of the supply of blood, okay, it is too difficult that they cannot grow. As they are not growing, then how can this be? Its growth can be monitored and its progress can be well judged. So future calculation of the strength of the brain developed in the laboratory can be guessed from this. Fine. So see, this is the input, this is the imaging, this is the biofeedback of the 3D culture system. Are not there other way to study the human brain? Recently, scientists planted these human brain organoids culture into the rat brains. See the man's curiosity. Those human brain organoids cultured in the laboratory are implanted in the rat brain. fine, brain of the rat. Okay, where they form connections with the rat brain, which in turn provided circulating bloods into the brain organoids. Since the organoids have been transplanted to the visual system, when the scientists showed the experimental rat a light flash, the human neurons were activated too, indicating that human brain organoids were also functionally active when implanted in the rat, the rodent brain. Right. So because when they show the light, so it was it reflected, so it responded to that, and that response ensured that so they are responding to the outside stimuli. Fine. Scientists have touched such a system as a way to study brain disease in human context. However, human brain organoids are still nested in the rat brain microenvironment, including the neuronal cell that we know play a critical role in some neurological disease. The effect of drug in this model will also have to be interpreted through various behavioral tests in rats, which could be insufficiently representative. So we need to address the limitations of the lab-grown organoids and develop a more human-relevant system, because rats and human brains are two different things. Although initially we experimented on them, but in reality they are not the foolproof system for to do final uh, assessment on the about human brain cell by doing the research on the rat cell. But experimentally, as it is started, so experiment is good, because through this experiment, this can be developed in future. Fine. Moving forward, what is the new biocomputer? The JHU researchers, okay, so John Hopkins University, JHU stands for John Hopkins University researchers. Scheme will combine brain organoids with modern computing method to create biocomputers. They have announced plans to couple the organoids with machine learning by growing the organoids inside flexible structures affixed with multiple electrodes, similar to the one used to take EEG, electroechogram reading from the brain. Okay, so these structures will be able to record the firing pattern of the neurons and also deliver electrical stimuli to mimic sensory stimuli. The response pattern of the neurons and their effect on human behavior or biology will then be analyzed by machine learning techniques. Recently, scientists were able to grow human neurons on top of a microelectrode array that could both record and stimulate these neurons using positive and negative electric feedback from the sensors. They are able to train the neurons to generate a pattern of electrical activity that would be generated if the neurons were playing table tennis. Fine. So this is all research going on. So what are the opportunity for the biocomputers? While human brain are slower than computers at say simple arithmetic, the outside machines are processing complex information. Brain organoids can also be developed using stem cells from individuals with neurodegenerative disease or cognitive disorder. Comparing the data on brain structure, connections, and signaling between healthy and patient-derived organoids can reveal the biological basis of human cognition, learning, and memory. They could also help decode the pathology of and drug development for devastating neurodevelopmental and degenerative diseases such as Parkinson's disease and microcephaly. Are biocomputers ready for commercial use? Currently, brain organoids have a diameter of less than 1 mm and have fewer than 1 lakh cells, both on average, which make it roughly 3 millimonth, the size of an actual human brain. So, scaling of the brain organoids is key to improving its computing capacity, as will incorporating non-neurological cells involved in biological learning. Second, researchers will also have to develop microfluid system to transport oxygen and nutrients and remove waste products. These hybrid system will generate very large amount of data, okay, which researcher will need to store and analyze using big data infrastructure. They will also need to develop and use advanced analytical techniques which help from machine. to correlate the structural and functional changes in the brain organoids to the various output variables. The first very primitive forms of learning are already around, like the Pong playing brain cultures. The challenge is now to establish long-term memory. Scientists hope to achieve this within 1 to 2 years. Applying this to patients, cells derived from brain organoids like autism and Alzheimer donors already on the way. It might see benefit for drug development in this decade. There is also a proposal to have an ethics team to partially identify, discuss, and analyze ethical issues as they arise in the course of this work. Because so if brain cell cultivated outside are implanted or research done on them lead to development of medicine otherwise, okay, so that may lead to you know okay, so an ethical question. So a committee on ethics is going to be appointed, okay, so the committee will study the ethical aspect, okay, so about the artificial or laboratory development of, okay, that is what, right. Then the second topic for discussion today is about the Forest Right Act and the fighting between the tribal panel, National Scheduled Tribe Panel Commission, and the Environment Ministry over the Forest Right Act. Forest Right Act was passed by the Parliament to give the forest dwellers their right over the land, fine, where they are staying. Okay, but in the name of development, government has amended it. Okay, okay. Although the National Commission for Scheduled Tribe invoked its constitutional power to requisition detailed Forest Right Act implementation report from the Supreme Court, the Register has ordered the release of the document to the National Commission on Scheduled Tribe. The Scheduled ST Commission is caught in a row with the Indian Environment Ministry over the latest Forces Forest Conservation Rules FCR 2022. The row is over the potential violation of the provisions enshrined in the Scheduled Tribe and Other Forest Dwellers Recognition Forest Right Act 2006, popularly called the Forest Right Act, passed by the Parliament, dubbed as the Forest Right Act. Okay, this particular act called the Scheduled Tribe and Other Forest Dwellers Recognition of Forest Right Act. Okay, 2006. It is popularly known as the Forest Right Act 2006. Okay, it was passed with the Parliament to give the forest dwellers, the Scheduled Tribe, the right over the land in case they are staying for more than 2 generations. Okay, the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change in June 2022 notified the Forest Conservation Rule 2022, which prescribe the mechanism for diversion of forest land for non-forest purposes. Okay, in 20, the Act was passed in 2006, but in 2022, the Ministry has made some changes by implementing the forest right rules, okay, which prescribe the mechanism for diversion of forest land for non-forest purposes. Right. As per the 2022 revision, forest land can be diverted for non-forest purposes. These amended rules have omitted a clause present in 2014 and 2017 rules that explicitly required any proposal to mandatorily have the consent of the local tribes people and other traditional forest dwellers OTFD of the area before proceeding for the stage 1 clearance. Fine. The Forest Right Act 2022 has allowed applying entity to go for the consent of the locals represented by the Gram Sabha after stage 1 or even stage 2 clearance. So, but the right provided that prior to the clearance, this prior to this getting stage 1 stage clearance, the consent of the tribe must be taken because within 2 months of the FCR 22 coming into force, the NCST constituted a working group, the Forest Right Act 2006, and other issues related to the forest and scheduled tribe to monitor the implementation of the Forest Right Act and make recommendations to the Union government and state government. The National Commission for the Scheduled Tribe concluded that the new Forest Right FCR, okay, impact or affected the right of the ST and other traditional forest dwellers violating the Forest Right Act. According to this Forest Act 2006, in case of a dispute of the forest land, precedence has to be given to the right of the ST and the other forest dwellers to live in and of the forest and its resources over any other party. Means, in case of a dispute, primacy should be given to the forest dwellers, not to the outsiders. But this has been violated in the 2022 amendment. What is NCST demanding? In September 2022, the NCST chairman sent a letter to the Environment Ministry highlighting the potential consequences of the FCR 2022, recommending that they be put on hold and previous rules which provided for the consent clause be strengthened. The ST panel argued that the previous version of the rules provided a legal space for ensuring completion of the processes for recognition and vesting of rights under the Forest Right Act in area where forests are being diverted for non-forest activities. The ST Commission noted that it made little sense to take the consent of the tribal and forest dwellers after an applicant has got stage 1 clearance. By then, the applicant would be invested in the project and would have the incentive to pursue the state government or union territory to divert the land at the earliest. The NCST added that the FCR 2022 provided for compensatory afforestation, but nowhere did it prescribe safeguard or a mechanism for compliance with the Forest Right Act. Further, the NCST working group found that when under the old rules, the FRA compliance was in trouble. It said currently nearly 25,000 to 30,000 hectares of forest land are being diverted every year for non-forest activity with the government's tacit support in the administration's tacit support. This is a violation of the act passed by the parliament. It cited a study by the Center for Environment and Development (ATRE) to note out of 128 applications for forest diversion for mining, over 100 has been processed between 2009 and 2018. It added that 74 proposals had stage 2 approvals, 46 had stage 1 approval in principle, with just 5 rejected and 4 closed for other reasons. None of the rejections was for non-compliance with the Forest Right Act. The study also found that 13 of these cases had been cleared with a FRA compliance report, despite this being far from the ground reality. Environment Minister wrote back to the NCST chief insisting that the FCR 2022 does not violate any provisions granting land right to the scheduled tribe and the other forest dwellers. The FCR has been issued in accordance with the Forest Conservation Act 1980, which was for a procedure which will run parallel to the provisions of the Forest Right Act 2006, and that there are no legal basis for the ST Commission's concern about FCR impact on the FRA. After this, the NCST letter to the Supreme Court requisitioning detailed reports related to FAR, the Forest Right implementation, by the states and union territory is it's the ST panel's last move. The court is yet to notify the next date for hearing the Forest Right Act case. The controversy has been highlighted between the National Commission for Scheduled Tribe and the Ministry of Environment and Forestry. You see, in the name of development, huge amount of forest lands are being diverted for non-forest activity. But the Forest Right Act provided for the consent of the forest dwellers. Okay, the traditional forest dwellers before any developmental activity is undertaken in their area. But this provision is amended by the 2022 Act, by which so the agency or the organization which is developing any project may take the clearance or consent after stage 1 stage 2 approval, and by the stage 1 stage 2 approval, so substantial amount might have been spent by the company, and if it will withdraw after that, it may incur heavy losses. So it try all its efforts, it give all its effort by hook or crook to get the act passed and the land diverted for non-forest purposes. That is why the violation is done, and that is the main ground of objection by the National Commission on the Scheduled Tribes, because the act passed by the Parliament 2006, which give the forest dwellers their right of land, is being violated by the Minister of Environment and Forest, which is giving clearance as per the application for development of infrastructure and other facility in the area. Fine. That is the big issue. What is the SC case in this with the NCST short document form? In order to access authentic forestry act report, the NCST approved the Supreme Court with a letter invoking power under clause 8D of Article 138A of the Constitution, seeking all documents filed in writ petition. The petition was filed initially by the trustee of Wildlife First, a Bengaluru-based advocacy organization that believes in the ideology of strict protected wildlife reserves and voluntary resettlement solutions for local tribes people and OTFD living in forest reserves. The plea essentially changed the constitutionality of the FRA and placed for the hearing before the three-judge constitution bench. In the course of the hearing, the Supreme Court requisitioned data of all claims under the Forest Right Act, which showed that nearly 50% of the claims had been rejected. Subsequently, the top court remarked that despite such rate of rejection, evidences were seemingly not at the same scale. The court in 2019 went on to order that all encroachment be cleared from forest land, and anyone found occupying land despite having their Forest Right Act claim rejected be evicted. That is what are the strict court order in this particular case. However, the court was alerted that the order could adversely affect thousands of tribesmen and other tribal forest dwellers, non-tribal forest dwellers, whose claim possesses under the Forest Right Act would be questionable. The court noted that in many FR rejections, rejection notice might not have been served to the local, and there is no clarity on whether they are given a chance to provide evidence. It added the question of mighty people, industrialists, or the miners sitting on forest land by occupying it in the guise of OTFD was of significance and cannot be ignored. The eviction order was stayed, and the court called for more detailed report on number of rejections, reason for rejection, procedure followed for processing a claim, whatever each claimant had the opportunity to provide evidence. The state filed their report there, and the report that the Supreme Court released to the NCST on 20th February 2023. So the issue is the fighting between the National Commission for Scheduled Tribe and the Union Forest and Environment Ministry and Climate Change Ministry, because in the name of development, the ministry is giving permission for diversification or diversion of forest land for non-forest activity. This is a violation. But in the original Act 2006 called the Forest Right Act, in case any project to be taken off, so which affect the livelihood of the forest dwellers, so their consent is a must. But this is right now being diluted by the Ministry of Environment and Forest, and without taking the consent of the affected people. So they are giving the approval or forest clearances for different developmental projects, and this is somehow you can say the supporting the industrialists or the project developers who are these people having money, influence at the power level or power centers. They are able to overcome the issue raised by the tribals because of their financial power. They are able to influence. That is why the commission, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe commission, the commission, National Commission of Scheduled Tribe, the commission has intervened as a statutory body to protect the right of the scheduled tribe over their right on the forest land. And in case of development, at least their consent is to be ensured. So they are not threatened in their place of origin. Fine. For development of any project. The third topic that we will take today is about the SWIME investment fund. The special window for affordable mid-income housing. Okay. SWIME investment fund has raised 15,530 crore so far to provide priority debt financing for the completion of stressed brownfield and real estate regulated, okay, registered residential projects that fall in the affordable mid-income housing category. The SWAM has so far provided financial approval to about 130 projects with sanction over 12,000 crore, and it is able to raise 15,530 crore. So it has some balance which it can provide to other project even. The special window for affordable and mid-income housing investment fund is a social impact fund especially formed for completing stressed and stalled residential projects. Since the fund considers first-time developers, established developers with troubled projects, developers with a poor track record of stalled projects, customer complaint and NPA accounts, and even projects where there are litigation issues, it is considered as the lender of the last resort for distress projects. The fund presence in a project often act as a catalyst for better collection and sells primarily in projects that were delayed for years. According to Finance Ministry, Swine Fund has one of the largest domestic real estate private equity team focused only on funding and monitoring the completion of stressed housing projects. How many projects so far have been financed by the fund? Swam has so far provided financial approval to about 130 projects with sanction owed over rupees 12,000 crore. The fund has completed 20,557 homes and aim to complete over 81,000 homes in the next 3 years across 30 Tier 1 and Tier 2 cities. The fund has been able to complete construction in 26 projects and generate revenue for its investors. The fund has also played a critical role in the growth of many ancillary industries in real estate and infrastructure sector, having successfully unlocked liquidity of more than 35,000 crore. Fine. Launched in November 2019, it has raised 15,530 crore so far with an aim to provide priority debt financing for completion of stress brownfield project, means project already stalled, and RERA, Real Estate Regulatory Authority registered residential projects that fall in affordable mid-income housing category. Fine. So the government launch fund are successful in generating fund which can finance the stalled housing projects in the small medium category to handle the housing finance requirement of the builders on whom the lower and middle income group almost depend. The next topic is One Nation, One Challan initiative. Fine. One Nation, One Challan. So right now we are on this One Nation track. One Nation, One Tax, GST. One Nation, One Ration Card. That Ration Card portability. Okay. So One Nation, One Election is also being discussed. Similarly, right now it is One Nation, One Challan initiative. The Gujarat government recently told the High Court, which was hearing a public interest litigation, seeking the setting up of virtual traffic court in the state, that it was already in the process of doing so under the One Nation, One Challan initiative. But this One Nation, One Challan initiative, One Nation, One Challan initiative, the Minister of Road Transport and Highway, to bring all related agencies such as the traffic police, the regional transport office, the RTO office, or different decision states on one platform to enable seamless collection of challan as well as data transfer. Challan is collected for in violation of the traffic rules. Okay, so connectivity among the stakeholders will make the process more seamless. How it will be more seamless? Let's see. The integrated system involve detection of traffic violation through the CCTV network and getting registration number of the airing vehicle from application like the Vahan and the Sarathi. One is the vehicle registration, other is the driving license portal. And each challan is then generated the relevant penalty amount and sent to the mobile number linked with the vehicle. Because in vehicle registration, mobile number is linked. So instantly a challan is generated and that is sent to the erring driver through his mobile number linked to the vehicle registration number. In Gujarat, the initiative is operational in three commissionerate area of Ahmedabad, Rajkot and Surat since January 16 and implementation at Vadodara is underway. So Gujarat has started implementing this. How does the integration help? So far, the police had to penalize someone from a different state using the CCTV network. They were unable to find details of the vehicle ownership as the database was not integrated. Suppose a driver driving a vehicle from Odisha to Chhattisgarh, Odisha to Gujarat, he violates some law in Gujarat. So it is not possible on the part of the Gujarat police or the authority to locate the detail of the driver based on the vehicle information, the CCTV, to issue a challan to him to make the payment. Now, the integration of all the states, the active data and the traffic police data, the support of National Informatics Center, NIC servers. For example, if someone coming from Chhattisgarh is captured to having traffic rules on CCTV, the vehicle registration number and its related data can be accessed by the Ahmedabad police and the challan will be sent directly to the mobile number mentioned at the time of the vehicle registration. Also, e-challan so far are delivered through mobile phone SMS or to post when the phone number is not available. So, this integration will make the system more seamless. So, a driver violating the rules while driving in another state different than where he has registered his vehicle will be able to be tracked and issued challan. If someone does not pay the challan amount within 90 days, the challan will be automatically forwarded to virtual court and proceeding will be initiated. Someone will be sent on the mobile phone of the offender. If the fine is still not paid, further legal proceedings will follow. A e-court will establish where, in case the violator have not deposited the fine, so he will be issued a court notice. And if still of the court notice he is not following, then future action also can be taken. Virtual courts are aimed at eliminating the presence of litigants in the court. An accused can search their case on the virtual court website. Upon successful payment of fine, the case will be shown as disposed of. The court will directly, dedicatedly, the court will deal dedicatedly the one nation, one challenge cases. Okay, and it will make the system seamless. Fine. The next topic for discussion is about the Urban Infrastructure Development Fund (UIDF) in light of the RIDF. So, the Rural Infrastructure Development Fund was launched earlier and it has seen success. In light of that, the Urban Infrastructure Development Fund is being created. The Urban Infrastructure Development Fund will be created using priority sector lending shortfall and will be managed by the National Housing Bank. The fund will provide resources for public agency to create urban infrastructure in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. The UIDF will be established on the line of the Rural Infrastructure Development Fund. States will be encouraged to access the UIDF by leveraging resources from the 15th Finance Commission grant and other existing schemes. In classification of cities, Tier 2 cities, cities with a population between 50,000 to 1 lakh, and Tier 3 cities, cities with population between 20,000 to 50,000 will be included within this. So, this Urban Infrastructure Development Fund is being created in light of the Rural Infrastructure Development Fund. The RIDF, or the Rural Infrastructure Development Fund, was established by the government in 1996 for financing ongoing rural development infrastructure projects. The fund is managed by the National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development NABARD. Domestic commercial banks contribute to the fund to fulfill their shortfall in priority sector lending to agriculture. The main objective of the RIDF is to provide loan to state government and state-owned corporations for completing ongoing rural infrastructure projects. The loan must be repaid in equal annual installment within 7 years from the date of withdrawal, the grace period of 2 years. Fine. The amount to spend can be repaid. Fine. Then the next is the International Maritime Exercise Cutlass Express 2023. INS Trikand participated in the International Maritime Exercise Cutlass Express 23. Okay. CE 23. IMX is the International Maritime Exercise Cutlass Express CE 23 for 2023. The exercise is an annual maritime exercise conducted to promote national and regional maritime security in East Asia, East Africa, and the Western Indian Ocean. The exercise is designed to assess and improve combined maritime law enforcement capacity, promote national and regional security, and increase interoperability This exercise is an annual maritime exercise conducted to promote national and regional maritime security in East Africa and West Indian Ocean. The exercise is designed to assess and improve combined maritime law enforcement capacity, promote national regional security, and increase interoperability between the regional navies. INS Nikand is participating in the International Maritime Exercise Cutlass Express 2023 being held in the Gulf region from 26 February to 16 March 2023. It will exercise with participants from over 50 nations and International Maritime Agency with a common aim of enhancing maritime security and keeping sea lanes in the region safe for maritime commerce. IMLX CE 23 International Maritime Exercise. Okay, so this Cutlass Express 23 is one of the largest multinational maritime exercise in the world. While this is India's Navy's maiden IMX participation, it also marks the second occasion where an Indian naval ship is participating in an exercise conducted by the CMF. Earlier in 2020, November 20, INS Trikan participated in the CMF-led operation She Showed 2. Fine. Participation in the exercise like CSO 2 and IMX C23 enable the Indian Navy in strengthening relationship and enhancing interoperability and collective maritime capacity with maritime partners in the Indian Ocean region. Fine. It also enables the Navy contribute constructively to regional stability and security. Okay. This is why it is so important because operating with more than 50 naval forces of other countries around the world will definitely enhance the efficiency and experience of the Indian naval power. Okay, too, because Indian Navy want to make it is a blue water navy, right? Okay, then come to the question. Recently, the Supreme Court verdict directed changes in the appointment procedure of Chief Election Commissioner. Okay, the CEC and Election Commissioners EC. What are the changes? Copy to the copy score ಗಾಡಿಗೆ WhatsApp पर तुमको पेमेंट दिन दो अच्छा कौन तो पैसा दे दो पेमेंट पर क्लास में पर ऑनलाइन क्लास okay. A constitutional bench of the Supreme Court has ruled that election commissioners will be appointed by the President of India on the advice of the committee consisting of the Prime Minister, the leader of the opposition in the Lok Sabha, and the Chief Justice of India. This practice should be enforced until law in this regard is made by the Parliament. The bench noted that making the law under Article 324 of the Constitution an unavoidable necessity. But here the Supreme Court intervened in the domain of the Parliament on the executive. Fine. So, Constitution based Supreme Court has ruled that Election Commission will be appointed by the President of India on the advice of the committee consisting of the Prime Minister, the leader of the opposition in Lok Sabha, and the Chief Justice of India. Fine. Article 324 of the Constitution has made the following provisions with regard to the composition and appointment procedure of the Election Commission. Election Commission shall consist of the Chief Election Commissioner and such a number of other election commissioners as the President may from time to time fix. The appointment of the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners shall be made by the President. The President may also appoint, after consultation with the Election Commission, such regional commissioners as they may consider necessary to assist the Election Commission. The condition of service of the tenure of each of the election commissioner and the regional commissioners shall be determined by the President. Okay. But the concern Lack of transparency. The president system appointment lack transparency as they are appointed unilaterally as per the wish of the government of the day at the center. The central government appoints the election commission, which makes the election process and the government is elected. So somehow there is no transparency in the process. Okay. Absence of law for an appointment. At present, there is no law to regulate the appointment of election commissioners. The 255th Law Commission report recommended the constitution of the selection committee to ensure greater autonomy of the election commission, because once appointed by the central government, election commission is not that fine. Lack of independence. The commission has not specified the term or qualification of the members of the election commission. Further, the expenses incurred by the election commission are not charged to the Consolidated Fund of India and are sanctioned by the government. Fine. So that is why even on financial issue, the commission is not independent, because it totally depends upon the government's mercy to get fund, because its expenditures are not charged on the consolidated fund. So the government allocate fund to the election commission. That is another limitation on the independent functioning of the election commission of India. The Supreme Court in its judgment observed that in a substantive democracy, the power to vote is more potent than the most powerful gun, and people depend on an honest election commissioner to guard the purity of the electoral process. Therefore, the present verdict will bring independence and transparency to the appointment procedure and will strengthen the electoral process in the country. Fine. With reference to, so coming to the MCQs, refer to the term organoids, consider the following: the tiny organ-like structure, group of cells grown in laboratories, miniature structure that mimic the cell arrangement of a fully grown organ. Fine. So it is correct. Fine. So they are grown in the lab using the stem cells that can develop into any specialized cells seen in the human body. It is also correct. They lack blood vessels to make them fully functional, as they are artificially cultured in the labs. It is also correct. They are used to study the safety and efficacy of the new drugs and also test the response of tissue to existing medicines. It is also correct. So all the four are correct. Answer is 1, 2, 3, 4, D. The reference to Forest Conservation Act 1980 consider the following: it prohibits the felling of forest for any non-forestry use without prior clearance by the central government. The clearance process includes seeking consent from the local forest right holders, from wildlife authorities and National Commission for Scheduled Tribes. The center is empowered to reject such requests or allow them with legally binding conditions. Which of the above statement is correct? So here, question number 2, 1 and 3 are correct. 2 is incorrect, because seeking consent to the local forest right from wildlife authority and National Commission for Scheduled Tribes is not there, because it never asked any consent from the National Commission for Scheduled Tribes. So 2 is incorrect. And the following statement relation to Swami Investment Fund. It is a statutory fund established under the Real Estate Regulation Development Act, so which is incorrect. Fine. So the sponsor of the fund is Rural Estate Development Authority, RERA. No, RERA is not the sponsor of the fund. So both are incorrect. Neither 1 or 2 is incorrect. Answer is D. With reference to the Urban Infrastructure Development Fund, recently seen in the news, consider the following statement: it will be established through the use of priority sector lending shortfalls. It will be managed by the Industrial Development Bank of India (IDBI). So 4 is, only 2 is correct, but 1 is not correct. Sorry. So 2 is incorrect. 1 is correct. Fine. NABARD will manage the fund. So this fund will manage not by IDBI but by NABARD. Right. Recently, Mega Tropico, one satellite of mentioned in news with reference to it, consider the following: the satellite mission to study the water cycle in the tropical atmosphere in the context of climate change. Fine. So this is correct. Okay. Then it was a collaborative of the India and France. So Mega Tropico is a joint collaboration of India and France. So both are correct. Both 1 and 2. Then recently the term Hindu rate of growth seen in news refers to the rate of growth of which of the following. So it is the GDP growth, because if the growth rate is slow, less than 5, it is called the Hindu rate of growth. India has overcome the Hindu rate of growth in the post-economic reforms period. Then, with reference to INS Trikhand, consider the following. So, it is a state-of-the-art guided missile. Okay, guided missile frigate and is part of the Western Fleet of the Indian Navy, right? It has been participated in the exercise called the Sea Show 2 IMX C-23 and Operation Sankar, right? Both 1 and 2 are correct. So answer is she. Then with International Women's Day celebrated on 5th of March. Then with reference to exercise Fringe 23, so it is the maiden joint exercise between Indian Army and the French Army. Okay, it is right. Okay, so it is for the first time that both countries are engaging in this format with each contingent comprising a company group. So both are correct. And all three theme of this exercise based on the counter terrorism. So one, two, three. Sorry, here one and two are correct. So three is incorrect. Uh, Caliber cruise missile. Okay, it is by Russia. This way, the discussion is over. Keep watching every day to update yourself on the development. Fine.